Criminal defense attorney Josh Kolsrud back with me again. Can you just kind of lay out what's happening ahead of tomorrow for our viewers?
So tomorrow's sentencing isn't just about Sean Puffy Combs. It's also about how judges are permitted to handle jury verdicts. So before I get into that, you have three different recommendations. You have Puff Daddy, who's recommending 14 months in prison, which essentially would be a time-served sentence, given the amount of time he's already served. And then you have the pretrial service report. And pretrial services works for the judge. They're a neutral party, and they're recommending 70 months, and they're not recommending any enhancements to that recommendation. Now, the prosecution, though, is asking for two different types of sentences. They're saying, look, we want him to be sentenced to the max, 20 years. But in the alternative, well, we're asking for around 11 years. But what they're doing is they're asking the judge to consider conduct that Sean Puffy Combs was already acquitted of. So he was convicted of two different counts of transporting adult women across state lines for the purpose of prostitution.
And you specify it's adult women, so in this case, had it been minors, this would be a whole different story.
Oh, definitely. If it was minors, he would be absolutely looking at a life sentence. But here, the judge has three vastly different recommendations, and the question is going to be, what's the judge going to do? Is he going to consider the conduct that he was acquitted of, or is he going to lean towards what the defense is asking for? And
so when we're looking at two completely different time frames, how does the judge ultimately decide what time he might serve behind bars? You've got 11 years on one hand and 14 months, which he's already essentially served.
So the judge first has to decide if the underlying conduct that the prosecutor is asking the court to look into, which is the stuff that he was acquitted of, does that enhance the sentence, or is it unconstitutional? If they rule in favor of the prosecutor, then the sentence is going to be around 10 years, easily.
Okay, and then when we talk about the victims who we've heard from and their impact statements, how do those weigh in as well?
So the judges always consider what the victims want in the case. And tomorrow, we're going to hear from Cassie, and we're also going to hear from the anonymous victim as well. And if they're going to be asking for a significant period of time in prison, that may push the judge to do so.
And do you anticipate prison time, just based on your experience in both sides of these cases?
I think that prison is definitely appropriate in this case. I don't think that it's going to be what the prosecution's asking for. I think that it'll be probably a little bit less than what the pre-sentence report is asking for, which is 70 months. So I would say in between 4 and 7 years.
All right, and we'll be keeping tabs on that. Josh Kolsrud, criminal defense attorney, thank you for being here on this Thursday. Troy?